Chapter 35. The chapter of the Creator, containing 45 verses, written at Mecca. This chapter, entitled the Chapter of Angels in the book Tessir and Jawahir, are Tefsir and Jawahir, which treateth of the exposition of Al-Quran in Turkish. In the name of God, gracious and merciful, praise be to God, creator of heaven and earth, who created the unfallen angels, the messengers of his commandments. They have wings 2, 3, and 4. And God adds to that what he will. And he maketh of his creature what seemeth good to him. He is omnipotent. None can comprehend the grace that he hath given to his people. It is incomprehensible that he is omnipotent and most wise. O people, remember the grace of God. He is their creator. Besides him, he enricheth you with the riches of heaven and earth. There is no God besides him. How can the wicked blaspheme against his divine majesty if they traduce thee? Certainly they traduce the prophets that were sent before thee. They shall be one day assembled before God to be judged. O ye people, what God hath promised is infallible. Glory not in the wealth of the earth. Beware lest the devil seduce you and render you proud, because that God doth a while defer the punishments of your crimes. The devil is your enemy. Be his enemies. He leadeth them that follow him into the fire of hell, where they shall suffer the rigors of infinite pains. Their sins shall be remitted that believe in God. Oftentimes he that delight to and do good, he believeth he doth well. So the printing is broken here. So the unbelievers shall be sternly punished, but those who accept true faith and do good works shall be forgiven and richly rewarded. Is he whose foul deeds seem fair to him, like the man is rightly guided. God leaves in error whom he wills and guides whom he pleases. Be not unwilling to depart from the wicked. God knoweth all their actions. He seemeth, he sendeth the winds that drive the clouds unto barren and dry places, to refresh the earth and cause it to revive after its death. In like manner will he raise again the dead. He that affecteth greatness shall find in God all manner of greatness. Good speeches ascend even to his divine majesty, and our good works are acceptable to him. Such as conspire against the prophet shall endure great torments, and their conspiracy become vain and unprofitable. God hath created you out of dust and mire. He created you men and women. The woman neither conceiveth nor bringeth forth, but through his permission. No man can either prolong or shorten his life, but following what is written in the book, kept in heaven. These things are easy to God. Those two seas are not like two, whose water is sweet and pleasant to drink. The water of the sea is cold and salt. Nevertheless, ye eat of the fish of the one and the other. Ye fish out of the sea, gems to adorn you. You see the ship to run upon the waters. and cleave the ways for the advantage of your commerce. Peradventure you will return, give thanks to God for his graces. He causeth the night to enter into the day, and the day into the night. He created the sun and the moon that run in the heaven, till the day appointed. That God who created these things is your Lord. The empire of the world is his. The idols ye worship have no more power than the skin of an almond. Date stone. If ye invoke them, they shall not hear you. They shall deny you at the day of judgment, and are not of power to let you know either the joys of paradise or the torments of hell. O ye people, ye are poor and necessitous. Ye have need of God's assistance, and God hath no want of you. Praise is due to him in every place. He will destroy you if it seem good unto him, and create another new people in your place. None shall bear the burden of another, be it never so light or heavy. None not when they are near of kin. Preach thou the torments of hell to such as fear their Lord without seeing him, and make their prayers at the time appointed. He that taketh heed of offending him laboreth for himself. All the world shall be one day assembled before him to be judged. The blind are not like to such as see clear. Darkness is not like to night to light. The shade and coolness are not like to the heat of the sun. The living are not like the dead. God causeth himself to be understood of whom he pleaseth. Thou canst not make the commandments of God to be understood by them that are in their sepulchres. We have sent only to preach the pains of hell and the joys of paradise hereafter. There is no place in the world where they have not been preached. If the misbelievers seduce thee, their predecessors likewise traduce them, whom we sent heretofore to preach to them the mysteries of faith and the scriptures. They were surprised in their sins, were rigorously chastised. Seest thou not how thy Lord caused rain to fall from heaven, to make the earth produce many fruits of sundry sorts, and to nourish in the mountains the goats, the stags, and hens, to nourish the crows and ravens, the men and beasts of diverse kinds and form? God gratifieth his creatures that acknowledge his benefits. He is omnipotent and merciful. They who devoutly read the book of God, who make their prayers at the time appointed, and bestow in pious works secretly or publicly part of the wealth that we have given them, have hope of a recompense that shall never perish. God shall recompense and augment his graces upon them. He is merciful towards the good, and accepteth the acknowledgement of his graces. The book that we have sent thee containeth the truth. It confirmeth the ancient scriptures. God knoweth and seeth all things. We have given the understanding of the Alquran to such as we have chosen among our creatures. There be some who have ill discharged what we taught them. Some have performed what was enjoined them, and others have taught it with affection and diligence through God's permission. And this is a great grace. They shall enter into the garden of Eden, where they shall remain eternally. They shall be adorned with collars of gold, enriched with precious stones. They shall be clothed with fine silk, and shall say, Praised be God, who hath delivered us from affliction. He is most merciful, and accepteth the thanks of his creatures, such as, through his special grace, shall enjoy the house of eternity, shall be free from all pain, and the misbelievers shall be cast headlong into the fire of hell. They shall not die in those torments, and the torture shall never be assuaged. Thus shall the wicked be chastised. They shall in vain implore succor of God and say, Lord, deliver us from these pains. We will do better than we have done heretofore. I will no more long prolong your life on earth. I have sent You, my prophets and apostles, they preached unto you my commandments. You would not hear them. Taste now the pains of hell, which ye have merited. The wicked shall this day be deprived protection. Certainly, God knoweth whatever is in heaven and earth. He knows all that is in the hearts of men. He it is that hath made you to multiply on earth, and piety shall rise against the impious. It shall render them abominable before God, and put them into the number of the damned. Say unto them, have ye well considered the idols, partners, that ye have worshipped? Tell me, what have they created on earth? Were they God's companions in the creation of the heavens? Hath God sent to them a book and reasons to authorize their impiety? Certainly the wicked instruct one another, only in pride and arrogancy. God sustaineth the heavens and the earth. He alone is able to sustain them. He is gracious and merciful. The wicked swore to fight for the increase of the faith. If there should come to them a preacher to instruct them, and when he came, they augmented their wickedness, became proud in the earth, and conspired against true believers. Their conspiracy fell upon themselves, and they can expect none other things than what was ordained against the predecessors. The law of God admitteth none alteration. Consider they not what was the end of their predecessors, who were more wealthy and powerful than they? Nothing is impossible to God. He knoweth all things, and is omnipotent. Should God punish the people when they offend him, he should leave no living creature on earth. He deferreth the chastisement of the wicked until the time appointed. When their time shall come, he will punish them according to their demerits. He seeth all. And so you can't really speak to the ones in their sepulchres. Kind of relates to Surah 36. We don't recite the Quran to speak to the dead. We're addressing the living. We're perhaps carrying on the legacy of the person living. And so it relates to the next chapter in that way. Maybe I didn't express that as clearly as it arranged itself in my mind. Whatever I said, whichever part of that I said. And it relates to Surah 72, Al-Jinn, Amalaka, and Al-Jinn. Two different types of created beings. When I say the jinn are fallen angels, I'm using the English here, so don't act like, oh, Satan was a malaka. No, I'm not saying that. There are different things here. But it pairs in that way. But Surah 35 talks about the mysteries. Now, I did a series on angelology, and I made that about as comprehensive as I could figure on doing. But I guess there's some languages I could have included, invested, and did a full-on thing about Arabic, but maybe talk about that somewhere else. But it talks about it in a simple way. It addresses the subject without going into long, usually boring details about, oh, these are the angels that have this many wings, and these are the angels that have this many wings, and these angels do this and that and the other. And okay, yeah, that can be pretty interesting, but it doesn't quite have the effect as 2, 3, 4, and whatever else God wants. And they're beings of his command. That's why why the unfallen angel thing works, is because they're beings that don't, lacking free will, they don't make mistakes. They just do whatever God wants. Like, we think of computers. Computers have a program and they keep to their program. I know there's hackers and glitches or whatnot, but still, that's issues with the program. Now, God full on knows the program, so nothing escapes God's want per se. But humans, we have our free will. So God gives us opportunity. Does it say that God doesn't guide anybody or God misleads anybody? No, the Quran never says that. Some of the translations kind of make it sound like that. But what's happening is they're not taking in the guidance to God. And if it's not the guidance that God has presented for them to find, one kind of doesn't, and think of like the Hellraiser movie, the person in the movie didn't care whether the knowledge and pleasure was of heaven or hell. He wanted it.